In the past, when someone in Lagos sends a WhatsApp message, an email to a friend in Kenya, in Uganda, in South Africa, even in Nigeria, that information, that WhatsApp text, has to travel all the way to Europe. Then, or even sometimes it goes to the United States before it bounces back to meet the person in Kenya or even the person next to them in South Africa, in Nigeria. Think about that. That is why internet is so expensive in Africa. Your information leaving a continent, a very big continent, traveling all the way to Europe, maybe in a tiny village in Europe, before it bounces back to the next person sitting by you. That is what Africa has been going through when it comes to internet. It results in high cost of services provider, expensive internet for customers, and frustrating slow internet. Sometimes no connections even. That exposed something. It means we really even can plan a war, because that war information is going to go to another continent for them to verify it and strike us before, or maybe not even deliver the information. We really went sovereign, you know. It means all our plans, people had that first-hand knowledge before the person you needed that information to go to. That is the greatest weakness of the internet in Africa. Then a moment crisis made the problem impossible to ignore. In early 2004, multiple undersea cables off the coast of West Africa were cut off. By who? We don't know. The internet access slowed, went dark for several countries for 11 long days. Engineers worked to repair the lines and restore the service. Imagine what would have happened in those 11 long days. If maybe there was a war going on, if maybe another country wanted to drop a nuclear bomb on those West African countries, or even on the whole continent, nobody would have gotten that information. They would have been able to twist the information to get it, to make it fit their narrative. That is a very dangerous thing. African students in cyber cafe waiting to load a single page while engineers are at sea preparing the... It's laughable. It's okay. So what did the African Union do? What did they think about? I think that's one of the best things they've started to do something good. Let me applaud them. They have started. They're trying their best. The African Union and national leaders and leaders of all African countries realize that something is wrong if they keep on living like this. Africa needs to safeguard its true sovereignty, its true information, its true digital future. It's needed now more than ever, when you really cannot trust the West or even the East. Africa needs to protect its own. The sovereign decision was made. The African Union declared that Africa must build its own internet. That is the pathway to African continent's sovereignty. A network that keeps Africans' data within Africa, not Africa's data in Europe. We are no longer slaves. We are no longer their colonies. We want them out of the continent. It's not a new World Wide Web, but it's a new structure, interconnectional internet, exchange points, regional data centers, optical fibers backbone that make it Africa to Africa. Communications in Africa remain in Africa. It means Nigeria's information is within Nigeria, not even within their neighboring countries, just within Nigeria. This vision became a continental project. It was supported by many African countries, the smart countries. Many leaders, their governments, their telecom operators, and global infrastructure partners support this mission. So it was no longer Africa's information would travel to Europe, but it was like, it is a sovereign right to have our information work for us. So first, new subsea and terrestrial fiber cables, like the Google Equinox, and the two African systems are dramatically boosting capacities. The second is the internet exchange points. They are spreading across the continent. So providers in Nairobi can pair directly with providers in Lagos, Accra, Johannesburg without paying international transaction fees. The third is local data centers and cloud hub. This means African businesses and governments can host their servers inside the continent instead of London, California. It can be done in the continent. It can be done even in your own country. All of this reduces costs. It increases speed of internet. It keeps Africa digital wealth within Africa, circulating within our country, not paying transactional fees to the colonial masters. So who are these countries that are leading this gigantic project? There are several countries that are already ahead of it. South Africa, with a mature data center market and exchange point. Kenya in East Africa, they are the East African hub. Nigeria is one of the largest populations, so yes, they are there. Rwanda and Ethiopia, each pursuing this ambition and national goal. It is for me to say, this should be a national security for each sovereign country in Africa. They should be able to get this rolling. Don't forget also, it is an opportunity now for entrepreneurs, for people to build data centers. Data centers are not built by government, they are built by companies. So if you have that $1 billion idea, get it into data center, build something. What does this mean for everyday Africans? It means sending money via mobile money platforms will be faster, cheaper. Video calls and telemedical companies will be cheaper. There will be no delay. Local startup companies can host their apps and services in Africa data centers at lower costs. Schools, hospital, government gain more reliability, access to online tools. The most important thing is keeping Africa's information within Africa and keeping that money within the region. Yeah, we have some challenges ahead. We all know some countries don't have these infrastructures. It is true, they don't. There might be funding shortages too. The regulations between all these 54 different African countries. Some countries are going through reset, through war. But this is not slowing the project. If it is carefully managed, then we will achieve this full sovereignty. Even we need to start creating our own Facebook apps, create our own YouTube. Remember, African creators have been censored on YouTube. That's another venture opportunity for someone to create a digital website like that for Africa. China has done it, and they are doing well. That is the way we have to think as Africans. Push your government to create these things, and also yourself, create the data centers for them. You can go online and see how data centers are being created. Yes, it is expensive. You can get funding for those. I know there's a small country in Africa where there's snow there. That is a very beautiful place to create a data center, in case you don't know. The cooling and everything is going to make it perfect. You don't need a lot of energy to have a data center in that kind of area. Look for where they have a waterfall where you can get hydro energy, and that the coldness of that place is going to help keep your machine stable. So yes, Africa, it's moving up and we are loving it. And we as Africans also should be able to help our government. First of all, Africa is one of the largest places where they have entrepreneurs. So we already have that skills. We don't wait for the government. But we have that skills for very little startup businesses because that's what we can afford. What I'm saying now is there's a growing demand for us to think bigger. You will have the mindset to create a website. And don't forget, Africa has its own domain. You know, there's the .africa domain. If you're using any African person's business and they are not on the .african domain, we need to start telling them to, no. You have to host on the .african domain. You can create our own version of YouTube. Why not? We can create our own version of Facebook. Why not? China did it. The Russians have it. Why not Africa? See, Africa's population is going to overtake the rest of the world by 2050. It means there will be more people using the internet in Africa, more younger people using the internet in Africa, more than anywhere else on this planet Earth. Maybe the people that want to go to Mars will be able to get something else, but the people here, we Africans, will be many of us using the internet. Start think, Africans. Let's think. Dear black man, dear black woman, think big for your future. Look at that future and think big about it. This is the perfect thing African can do for itself. We can create our own Microsoft. We can create our own Facebook, our own YouTube, our own TikTok, our own, digitize it and make the money. So if you like my channel, please subscribe. I need subscribers. I really need subscribers. So please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you all. Have a great day.